Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Well, I just thought I'd give you a bit of a review of my cast iron stove, because this is the first time I've actually had and used a cast iron stove. I mean, I've seen them on other people's boats and what have you, but this is the first time I've actually got to use my own. And let me tell you, it is absolutely bloody amazing. It is absolutely awesome. So, it's all installed now. I've got an additional 1 meter flue on top of the roof, which I'll have to remember to disconnect when I start traveling, which is fine. But I get a really good draw now. So, you know, thanks to everyone who's suggested I need to get that. That's helped greatly. And at the moment, I'm burning a little bit of wood. I've been given a whole bunch of offcuts. So my neighbour the other night, his name's Rich. He lives in the house just right next to the boat. And he popped down the night with some lovely stir fry and a couple of cans of Guinness, and he's given me all these, because he's a kitchen fitter, right? So he's given me all these offcuts from when he's, you know, he uses it himself when he's runs his fire pit. So I've got 3 bags of this stuff. So I've just been burning that at the moment. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It saves me having to go out and forage for it, at least. But yeah, as for the stove itself, the heat coming off that is incredible. At the moment, I've got my little fan going, sucking in cold air from the outside. I've got the windows open, I've got the door open, and it's still 20 degrees inside here. It's going to be brilliant. Bring on winter. Bring on winter. I want to test this baby out, you know. Also, I bought one of these. This is an infrared heat gun. Use a little laser, right? And you point and shoot, and it tells you where all the heat spots are, or what the temperature is at certain points. You know, I basically bought it so I could make sure that the heat, particularly at the top of the flue, wasn't, you know, so hot that it was going to, like, you know, combust the ceiling. Because remember, I'm in a fiberglass boat, and the ceiling is wood and fiberglass. But you know, that's a really hot fire burning at the moment, and the temperature up the top of the flue is 56 degrees. So it's hot, but remember, I've got a silicon flashing around it and a 1-inch air gap around the flue as well. So I'm not overly concerned. I have noticed though that, you know, obviously when the smoke rises, it cools as well. But you know, I can also check the temperature. So the temperature on the surface of the stove is 222 degrees. The temperature next to the stove on the silica board is 115 degrees. Behind the silica board though, you can hardly feel any heat at all. So these silica boards are absolutely fantastic too. So yeah, and you can see I've got the kettle. That's brilliant, which means I've now got an endless supply of hot water. All I have to do is, you know, fill that up when I use some, and as long as the stove's on, I get endless supply of hot water. So that's endless cups of tea, more regular showers using my weed sprayer, and I can do the dishes any time I like. It's fantastic. Added to that, and this is one thing that I've found, and someone, my friend Mark was telling me up from Great Haywood, was telling me that the little bit of steam that comes out of the kettle is just enough to give a little bit of moisture into the cabin. Because what I've found is it's very dry. I mean, it's great, it dries everything out, but it does affect your skin a little bit. So that just puts back a little bit of moisture. It's not enough to create condensation, it's just enough to create a little bit of moisture within the cabin space. But it's absolutely, yeah, one of the best things I've ever bought. And I love, you know, look at that. I love the ambience. Look at that. I love the ambience that the fire creates. And even when I've got coal burning, you know, it's a lovely warm glow of coal. So what I tend to do is burn wood throughout the day. So I'm going to chuck another stick on there actually. There we go. And then put coal in at night if it gets really cold. But I let the fire go out last night because it was quite mild last night. You know, it only dropped down to like 12 degrees. Hardly even worth putting it on. underneath here you've got like a little ash drawer. If you just open it slightly, you can probably see the flames starting to rear up a bit. So I just open that up when I'm burning wood to let more oxygen in, to increase the burn. And then when it gets going again, I'll just shut it off. But if I want to get a really hot fire going, I'll just open that and let more air inside. It's brilliant. The one downside that I've noticed though is it produces so much ash. And there's dust and ash all over the bloody cabin, you know. So, you know, that's the only downside. And I'm producing tons and tons of ash. Like, this is my ash drawer, or my ash container, right? It's got a lid. It's basically a laundry powder container. But that's full now. That's only after a few days. But that's fine, because I use all that ash, and I put my coffee grounds in there as well. But I use that ash and I put it on my compost loo. Because it eradicates all odors, right? So that's brilliant. So yeah, you know, I mean, as much as it is a con, it also is a pro. What else did I want to mention? Yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, coal. Yes. So I've been burning coal as well. This is, I could tell the different types of coal by just looking at it now. This is Supertherm coal, very large briquettes. I've got a little bit left over from when I had some previously, because I used to use bags of coal as ballast, because I had a bit of a list, because all my stuff, my batteries and water tank and everything is on the port side of the boat. So when I fill the water tank, the boat would kind of do that. But now I've got that installed with the concrete slab and the bricks and everything. It's corrected itself, but of course I had all this leftover coal, so I've been using that Supertherm. That's really good stuff, but it produces lots of ash. I have also bought myself 4 bags of and you get black hands as well, see. I bought myself 4 bags of Excel, which is like a premium brand of coal. It like burns really hot, produces very little ash. And I'd just like to sing out and say thanks to Mick and Barb, 2 of my subscribers, who dropped down those 4 bags to my boat the day before the lockdown hit. Because I figured, well, in the event that the lockdown goes beyond December up to Christmas, I don't want to be stuck, you know, without fuel, particularly as December is the start of winter. So thanks, Mick and Barb. You're legends, you really are. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to actually have one in a narrow boat, because I will be able to burn it a lot hotter. I really don't need to burn this very hot. I'm glad I got it, because I do have a lot of windows, so I do lose a lot of heat. But that also means now, instead of having to cover up my windows, I can leave them all exposed. So let lots of natural light in, and I can see out, I can see the canal. And also by getting rid of that other stove, I've got rid of that wall, so it's completely opened up the space. Unbelievable. Yeah, so really happy with that. I just can't cook on it. Unless it's a really hot wood fire like that, I really can't cook on it. I tried making stew the other night, and I had this grand idea, I was going to leave it on overnight, but of course, you know, it needs to be operating at a fairly high temperature to avoid, you know, getting bacteria growth and all that kind of stuff. So that was a bit of a trial and error. But there are other things I can do, like bake potatoes. I can heat water. Heating water is honestly the best thing. I can save using my metho, my alcohol stove, and just it keeps it like 70, 80 degrees. So it's really hot water. And all I have to do is keep on topping it up, and I've got hot water all day. So it's just been absolutely brilliant. Great purchase, and it wasn't overly expensive. The whole lot, with the flues, the cowl. I've got one of those rotating wind cowls that, you know, rotate with the direction of the wind. That plus the concrete slab plus the bricks and everything came to £400. It was basically less than half the price of my other stove. I wish I'd known. I wish I'd learned all about this before when I first bought my boat. But anyway, you know, you live and learn. You know. So yeah, £400, and I've got a fantastic fire to last me all over winter.